Hi, I'm Allie.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Riley, and we are studying the lack of a relationship between ADHD, switching majors, and indecision.
So, for college students, there are constant environmental changes that lead to an increase in additional stressors and required adaptations. Heavier workloads and new social environments affect the academic performance of students with ADHD, and they must learn to adapt to these challenges. Studies looking at college students with symptoms of ADHD have identified higher rates of a variety of academic problems, including lower GPAs, increased rates of academic probation, poor time management skills, and deficient test strategies. Many factors contribute to finding a relationship between ADHD and indecisiveness, such as deciding takes a long time, a tendency to delay making decisions, a tendency to avoid making decisions, leaving decisions to someone else, instability of decision, worrying about decisions that are made, and regretting decisions that are made. From this study, it can be hypothesized that college students with ADHD switch majors as a result of their indecisiveness.
We gathered participants for this study through the Class of 2022 Facebook page or by email through their psychology professors, where they would receive extra credit in their classes for participating. After this, they would receive a consent form followed by the survey. In total, the study consisted of 79 college students from Westfield State University, all 18 years or older, both with and without ADHD. The survey itself consisted of information about switching majors in the form of yes or no question, ADHD diagnosis in the form of yes or no questions, and it contained an indecision scale. For the scale, individual item point values were added together to create a final indecision score for each participant. Any participant who scored over a 70 out of a 132 was considered indecisive. We then analyzed the data using a two-way ANOVA because there were two independent variables and one dependent variable, where the independent variables were major switching in ADHD and the dependent variable was indecision.
The graph here displays the relationship between ADHD and major switching compared to the mean indecision score of each of these groups. A two-way ANOVA statistical analysis was conducted to compare ADHD, indecision, and major switching. The analysis showed that there was no significant relationship between any of the variables. Overall, it was determined that ADHD and overall rates of indecision had no effects on switching majors displayed by the population studied. One aspect that may have affected the outcome of our study was having more participants who did not have ADHD than those who did. If further research were to be done on this topic, we would encourage gathering more participants with ADHD so that there was more data on this population. In addition, adding an ADHD scale would be beneficial to determine and get a more accurate read on ADHD diagnosis of the participants. With this self-report, we could determine participants who had ADHD symptoms but are not diagnosed with ADHD. Thank you so much for listening to our research study.